Dr. David Baker Hargrove.
Hello, and I'm Robert Baker Hargrove,
And
and we're at the top of your inbox.
This is the place where we come together to bring to you all of our years of lessons learned of owning and operating businesses, both individually and together.
And our goal is to help provide you with just a little bit of a business bite for you to take back to your company to help your business grow and your leaders develop. So, Dr. Dave, what's at the top of your inbox today?
So today, I thought that we would talk about creating psychological safety in your workplace.
Psychological safety. Now, we touched on that in our video that talks about mental health in the workplace. And I recently read an article that talks about what it means to have psychological safety in the workplace. And it talks about having a place where employees can make mistakes, where they can learn from those mistakes, where they can grow, where they can question and challenge, what's happening, and that they feel very comfortable and safe, physically safe in that work environment, as well as mentally safe. Can you expand on what that means and what that sounds like from that perspective?
If you have a work environment or you've created a work environment where people do feel shamed or humiliated, where when they make a mistake, that is going to create long-term ripple effect problems in your workplace, because
Right.
the reality is that there's very little in the work world where a mistake is made that can't be corrected somehow,
True statement.
especially when you know about it pretty quickly. And so
Yes.
then you want to create an environment where people tell you right away that a mistake has been made, because then you just correct it and move on. But the opposite
Yes.
is that when people feel like they're going to get in trouble or they feel shamed by making mistakes, then they start to hide mistakes, and then they encourage other people to hide mistakes. And
Yes.
what's going to happen with that is that you're not going to know when mistakes are happening, and that is going to have a negative effect on your business in some way. And chances are that you're not going to find out probably until the government comes knocking on your door, and you're going to be like, what is going on? So it's going to be something very serious that's going to happen. And
But one of the things I wanted to touch
Sure.
base on it is when you talk about employees making a mistake and them hiding it, if you don't address that or you don't allow them to share that they've made a mistake, what will happen is that's training and allowing that employee to create a pattern of hiding their mistakes. And what happens over time is it builds up and it builds up and it builds up. And it could almost be like a stack of dominoes where you're stacking up all those mistakes and then you hit it and then all the dominoes come tumbling down. What's going to happen is something's going to be caught on one of those mistakes and it's all going to come tumbling down.
Mm-hmm.
And it could have a significant impact on you from a financial standpoint. It could have an impact on you from a physical safety in your environment at some point in time. Or it could have a negative impact on just employees and wanting to be, an employee, from an HR standpoint. So really, by creating a psychological environment where people feel safe, that they can talk about those mistakes or have that openness, and it does prevent those things from stacking up. So I just wanted to make sure I pointed out that.
Right. And one last point on that issue is that I guarantee that you will have a certain percentage of staff members that come into your organization that have the mindset from a previous employer
Yes.
that I cannot make mistakes, I have to hide my mistakes, I will be punished for my mistakes. So you have to talk openly
Yes.
and honestly that your workplace, your organization is a place where you can make mistakes, you can report them openly.
So
and
you
it's
really want to make sure that you're being very open and honest, and that adds a lot. And that communication, having that communication, that also adds to psychological safety.
Right. Now, the second point we want to make about this is that really psychological safety is really very much tied to diversity, equity, inclusion programs. And so, Robert, I'd like you to kind of expand on that a little bit.
Absolutely. So diversity, equity, and inclusion is really about being able to see who your employees are as individuals, value what they bring to the table as their true authentic self, regardless of how they identify from a demographic standpoint, and then really be fully inclusive, including them and including who they are holistically, to really bring that full self to your organization, which can then have a great impact on your bottom line. And by what I mean by that is by valuing your employees for what they are, whether it is a marital status, military status, religious affiliation, racial or ethnic background. There's a plethora of demographics that really fall under diversity, equity, and inclusion. And so by being able to acknowledge that, respect it, and value it, you're telling your employees that you feel valued, I feel valued, and by being valued, they're going to then turn around and value the company, which will then have a direct impact on your bottom line and your productivity.
And make no mistake, DE&I programs and initiatives are hard work.
Yes.
And statistics prove that most people feel that their identities are not respected in the workplace. And it makes a difference on how they show up in their roles. I cannot stress this enough. It is so important. This is hard work. And this is a very, very important aspect of creating a psychologically safe workspace. Wouldn't you agree?
I would agree with that. And just by listening to you, it's funny because if I was listening to you and your voice got so impassioned by that at that moment, because it is such an incredible point that when you really truly see your employees as individuals and people, it just brings a whole nother layer that they feel very happy. And when you have happy employees, you're going to get happy work, and happy work means a happy bottom line.
So the last point, we want to make about creating a psychological safe workspace is really about allowing your employees to have an open forum for being able to challenge the status quo.
Yes.
But again, make no mistake, when you create a safe space...
There's that passion again.
I know. When you create a safe space to challenge the status quo will be challenged. And oftentimes that's going to be you. So you have to be able to learn how to accept that and be able to deal with it professionally. Also,
and it's not always easy, because sometimes it may challenge maybe a little bit of an ego thing that could challenge you. It might be, you might feel as though that they could be challenging your professionalism. And really, by creating an environment, you have to be open enough to say, it's not about me, it's about what we're doing right now, whatever the situation is. So be open to being able to acknowledge that and then be able to address what they're bringing to you.
And along with that, you have to be able to help the staff members facilitate staff members challenging each other, or leaders challenging other leaders. And you have to be able to be open to allowing all of that to happen professionally. And I will tell you that a lot of it, you can't do that on your own.
No.
You may have to be able to bring in a consultant. We have always used consultants in the businesses that we've run together to be able to help us achieve these goals and working towards psychological safety. It is absolute paramount to be able to do that. And you know what? We absolutely love to be able to help you in your quest to achieve psychological safety in your workplace.
Absolutely. And if you would like to reach out to me, you can reach out to me at robertbakerhargrove.com.
And I am at davidbaker-hargrove.com.
Or you can reach both of us at bhcassessment.com.
So until next time, we'll see you
at the top of your inbox.